My experience with Facial Team was worse than Finster's.
The results are really good. The surgery is really good, which is the most important part, obviously. However, for a private company that you pay and then you pay for hospital days, yeah, I don't think it's all that. The nurses are not from Facial Team. They're from the building that it's in, right? And they're fine. They're trying their best. There's not very many of them, and they don't speak English very well, which is fine. It's not England. I don't expect it. But Facial Team kind of, I don't know, they kind of sell you on people being able to speak English. So it gets a bit confusing when you're talking about medication and taking drugs and surgery and health. That gets a bit confusing because you kind of misinterpret what the other person is saying. Like, you don't know if you're on the same wavelength, and which is difficult. Yeah, they do attract patients from outside Spain. This is the reason I'm complaining about it, is because they are like one of the top global FFS like surgery companies. I really butchered that explanation. They're a huge global brand for this kind of thing, and they really, like, I don't know, they say that they're like the best, and that's true. They have crazy ass results, and everything was nice, and they didn't push anything. Like, they actually took away some things that Finn wanted because they didn't think it would be very good, so it like saved money and stuff. They weren't like money hungry, but it's just the hospital part, I guess. Like the nurses were just regular nurses, and it just was confusing because, like, okay, so specifically, Finn takes like a sleeping medication occasionally, like a prescription one, and you shouldn't like mix prescription sleeping medications with prescription any kind of downer. So, like, being pumped full of random painkillers and like diazepam, it was a bit scary. Like, the first night was intense and Finn was in pain, and they needed like more medication than what they were being given, but because of like language barrier and stuff, it just they weren't really understanding that it was like a serious issue, or they would take a really long time to respond, and it was horrible for Finn. Like, they were just going crazy. They gave them like diazepam, like, which is Valium. Like, okay, they gave them like 20 milligrams, and then said it's fine for them to take their sleeping medication, which I know that it isn't. And then they gave them like anesthetic, like they like sedated them like twice because it just wasn't working. And I was kind of terrified on the first night that they were gonna like stop breathing or something, because like, you aspirate, you fall asleep, your breathing slows down, it can stop, or you can like choke because you can't, you like vomit or something and you don't react. It's like when you're drunk. It was a bit freaked out. They have to get hold of an on-call. Yeah, they did eventually, but initially they weren't trying to do that. They were just being late. Yeah, I don't know. You can't keep someone on their side who's just had FFS because they've just had FFS. You can't keep them on their side. It doesn't work like that. They're not allowed to go on their side. Right, so there's nothing actually wrong with Facial Team, and there's nothing actually wrong with the nurses. I think pretty much everybody else had a completely perfect time. But I think because Finn had a different reaction to normal, in that the pain medication wasn't working, they were experiencing more pain, and they were getting really overloaded by all of the sensory stuff. It just was like a unique case, and they were not really prepped for it. I think they were prepared for, like, we've done the surgery, you're all fine, everyone's always fine, you'll heal and then you'll leave. It's not like they were not very nice. They were nice. They just were fed up. Like, by the end of Finn's stay, they didn't like us. They didn't like me. They didn't like Finn. Because, like, being told to wait a bit when you're in, like, pain and discomfort, and people keep saying, yeah, 1 minute, and it's not a minute, it does suck. Like, if you're paying for, like, however much it is for a room, and however much it is for the surgery, it does suck a little bit. But like you get really good results, and they're really skilled surgeons. So I don't know. It's just different to what I was expecting. It was kind of just like, fuck off. No, it's not like that. That's me being like, that's doing a disservice to, the people trying. But it was like not what I expected. Not what I expected. But I don't know. I wasn't the person like I know for a fact that Finn has only positive things to say. Like every time I've asked them what they're, how they're feeling about the experience, they're like very positive about it. So maybe it's just an outsider perspective, not understanding, I'm not on drugs, unfortunately. So I have to be conscious and sober for all of this stuff.
Former intensive care nurse. F1NN is super low risk for apnea due to oversedation. They are young and have a small neck circumference. It's not super wild for them to not be monitored.
Small neck circumference? Did you, what? Did you slip in a little bit of serial killer thoughts? What does that mean? How does that relate medically, professionally? Do doctors grab you by the neck? Can a doctor grab me by the neck and instantly tell how likely I am to die? Could a doctor just grab me by the neck? Gonna shoot my shot, I guess. It's a really bougie hospital. There's no nursing shortage there. See, that's the thing that I was thinking. Like, I went to the hospital. It's not like a hospital. It's like a bougie ass fucking building. It does not seem like a hospital at all. It seems like an incredibly fancy building. There's like a fancy office reception and like the statues. They have like their own statues and shit. And all the rooms are bougie. That's it. Like, it's crazy, yeah. 5-figure troop. Thank you. Please, Americans, back me up here. You have to pay for healthcare. You know what it's about. Back me the hell up. I just like to say the nurses did nothing wrong. They were doing their jobs to the best of their ability, okay? It just was not the same standard of care. That's it. Maybe they just don't like me. That's fair. Entirely fair. I did keep bugging them. Pre-op nurses were all English speaking and from facial team. And then when I was post-op, it was a lot of hospital nurses who only spoke Spanish. That there you go. That is exactly the experience that I'm trying to convey. Pre-op, everybody you meet speaks like fluent English, and they're not expecting you to try and learn Spanish or anything like that. It seems to be part of the care. And then after, it's just a very difficult process because you have to translate. And some of the nurses don't speak any English. I speak barely any Spanish, none. I did it apparently I retained a fair amount from school. Well, a fair amount compared to zero. I know words, that's about it. And I can kind of read it. I can read it. But I think language barrier when it comes to like medical things, that to me is kind of worrying. Like that is just a bit stressful because you don't always get like the context. You don't always understand. You don't know if you're on the same wavelength, really. Again, Finn had a good time. Their reviews are very positive. So, I was just guessed. I didn't get the nice drugs. Maybe if they gave me nice drugs, I would have had a better opinion of it. Maybe if they sedated me.
Good chat.
Oh yeah, Pippi's in my house. Pippi's in my home right now. She's in my house, and she downloaded Deadlock on my computer. I feel like that's a violation. I feel like I've been violated.